Welcome, welcome to everybody to All Things Apple Valley. This is a meeting in transition. We're trying to decide if we should go quarterly, which we probably will. So we appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this for us, because there are people who are interested in what we have to say and locally in terms of our fire, police, schools, and town council and utilities. So we appreciate you taking the time to do that. And since I know he always has the most to say, I will let Mr. Archbishop from the town of Apple Valley start off. Art, also, would you, before, when your comments, if you know, do we have a new fire chief? We can cover that sometime, because I haven't been able to get the answer yet.
At who you asking?
You.
Oh, not that I'm aware of, not yet.
Okay.
You can ask Mark if we have anybody online from the fire district.
No, we don't.
Okay.
That's why I thought maybe you'd know.
Okay.
Since you're kind of,
Well, I'm ready when you're ready, Pat.
I'm ready for you, buddy. Go.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. I think retirement has helped Pat's attitude a whole bunch. He seems a lot friendlier, Pat. First, the big thing in the town of Apple Valley is, of course, American Idol came to town. One of our own, Chase, won the American Idol for his great country western. We're so proud of him, and he has assured us that he will come back to Apple Valley and do a concert, and we will see him in the future. So we're extremely happy about that, and congratulations. And I know Deborah Jones, the mayor of Victorville, is not on this, but I do need to acknowledge that Chase was born in Victorville, and she brings that up every time I talk about him. The other thing we want to talk about is the budget. Tuesday night, we will be finalizing our budget. You will have a balanced budget. Unfortunately, out of reserves, there'll be a discussion about items that were brought forward by the Citizens Advisory Board that we may be considering and looking in comments by the council to put into the budget. So if anybody has any budget issues or concerns, feel free to contact me or the town of Apple Valley. I wish we will have a balanced budget, but unfortunately it'll be utilizing reserves, and that's something I don't care to do, but right now economically, that's unfortunately where we're at. The next thing for Apple Valley is we have our concerts series coming up, our Freedom Festival and our concerts. We are going to have fireworks. I'm not sure what Washington is going to say, but we are going to have fireworks. Our concerts, Sunset Concert Series lineup, June 17th is Latin Express, which we're really excited for. But my favorite, after all these years, is still Fat Cat Swingers. They're June 24th. July 8th at the park will be Rockin' Heaven's Door. It's a classic rock group. June 15th is the Mighty Cash Cats. It's a Johnny Cash cover band. And July 22nd, for people who are a little younger than me, but from that 80 generation, Neon Nation. And I know a lot of you people that are from that generation. I'm more from the 60s and the 70s. They're going to be excited by that. Mark, can I ask if St. Mary's online?
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. Well, then I just wanted to shout out to St. Mary's. We in Apple Valley have the most shots given in the region. St. Mary's has done a tremendous job getting shots out to everybody. I think now we're somewhere over 40,000, if I remember correctly, 42, 41,000. So we're really, for COVID, and we're trying everything we can to get back to normal. I know this has been extremely difficult on everybody, and especially our local business people have really had a difficult time with this whole COVID situation for the past year. Hopefully June 15th, we have a governor that keeps changing his mind in the rules. So we'll see how that all plans out. One of the big things in the news, and I was hoping that St. Mary's would be here is that St. Mary's Hospital is looking at relocating to our neighbors in Victorville somewhere in the next 6 years or so. I don't have a lot of information update on that. Maybe Mark, we can make sure, or Pat, we can make sure that Kevin's there in the future to give an update, because that's something that your council feels very strong about, and that we're getting a tremendous amount of questions and input and concerns and comments from the public. So I'll just leave it at that. I do want to thank Cooley Construction. They've loaned the town a water tank so we can make sure that we're getting everything watered at Horseman Center. That's an important, one of our important parks for us, and has very unique. If you haven't been to Horseman Center, it's absolutely beautiful. We still have small business grants. I think the last I checked, we were about 12 or 13 grants. We still have small business grants. Those are anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000. These business people, these are grants. They are not paid back as long as you can maintain certain standards over 180 days. Once the grant's applied for, it works for you. As always, we shop local Apple Valley. One of the things that's hurt Apple Valley and everybody is Amazon. And I'm glad for Amazon, but unfortunately, most people get a package or two packages, in my wife's case, a day. And that's really hurting our sales tax. Our pool is getting opened up. We're extremely excited about it. One of the events I love best is our cardboard regatta. That's where people use cardboard and duct tape and make a boat, and in teams, and try to row across the lake without across the pool without sinking. I always get a kick out of that. Everybody enjoys themselves. We have a number of things upcoming in our park. We have our youth basketball league coming, our Pee Wee Hot Shots coming, our summer kickoff 5K run is right around the corner, as well as our firecracker run and our reverse triathlon, which is a really tough event. I can't do it, and so I thank all the people out there that are doing it. I just want to give a quick update on the road widening project at 18 and Apple Valley Road. That's our Happy Trails Highway project. The project is still online. We'll hope to have it complete somewhere around November. If you live in that area, you drive that intersection, you'll see the big mound of dirt is gone. And they're just moving right along. They're finishing up one corner and going to another corner. We did just complete a really great drainage improvement in the area of Navajo Road and Highway 18. If you're a young timer like myself, you can remember our last flood in 2010. That part of our neighborhood, our town, really took a beating and went underwater. Matter of fact, there's some video out there somewhere of me in a boat trying to rescue people out of a couple of the homes in the area. So we're really grateful. The town engineering department's done a great job installing what I call dry wells, but to try to change a flooding situation. I do want to remind people of a couple of things. This is weed abatement season. If you have tumbleweeds in your property, weeds growing up in your lawn, please try to remove them, because the 4th of July is coming. And that, unfortunately, as much as we want to celebrate our great nation, I ask everybody to celebrate it. Go to the park and watch the fireworks provided by the town of Apple Valley. Fireworks are illegal everywhere in the high desert, with the exception of the city of Atalanta, who made that decision a number of years ago. We ask everybody, the poor animals, the dogs, the cats, the horses, the fireworks are just, which have already started, are just driving these poor animals crazy. So we ask everybody to please, no fireworks in Apple Valley. Come see our show. All fireworks in Apple Valley are illegal. And the town of Apple Valley, unfortunately, as Pat had mentioned, we don't have a new fire chief yet. So it's been a little bit difficult. We are trying to get representation from the fire district at our next council meeting to talk about what the fire district is doing for the town. It's a fire district ordinance, the enforcement of fireworks. So we really rely on them tremendously. We have our Rock and Flea Market coming up, which is a great event over in the at the park over by the old Apple Valley Inn. And I would be glad, Pat, if you would like to take questions, or I can wait till the end, or if you have no questions, I'm happy with that too.
Well, Art, I just have a question, and you don't have to go into detail. Did Doug or the town of Apple Valley get a heads up from St. Mary's before that hit the newspaper about the relocation?
St. Mary's Hospital met with the mayor and advised him about 45 days ago.
Okay, good.
It was pretty
I know
very
what
much
the
a one-way
comments are.
conversation.
Yeah, I know what the comments must be coming into town hall, because the senior community is very concerned. Anyway.
And it's not only the senior community, it's a lot of our business people who've moved to the area of the hospital for their businesses. Other doctors and other specific medical facilities that moved to that location over the last 50, 60 years to be close to the hospital. So,
right.
Yeah, we're hearing, Pat, we're hearing from a lot of people.
Yeah, it's going to have an impact. Also, since you mentioned
it is.
Since you mentioned the concert series, I'll give a plug. Again, the Apple Valley Rotary Club will be there selling beer at all of the summer concerts. So
yes, they will.
Even if you don't like the band, you can legally consume alcohol on the premises. So, and
I'm sure you'll like the beer.
Yeah, since it's the only thing available, that it's wonderful. Anything else?
Any other questions, Pat?
We have questions in the chat room.
No questions in the chat, Pat.
Okay. I appreciate that. I hope take care of your cough.
I will. Thank you very much. Have a good update. Bye now.
All right. Trenae, Apple Valley Unified. Thank you so much for having summer school. My 7-year-old grandson went to summer school, and we were so concerned because he hasn't seen anybody but his twin brother and sister for the last year, that he wouldn't even know how to speak to another human child, but he came home with 2 new friends. So everybody's thrilled.
They're pretty resilient, aren't they, Pat?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the school district. We were proud of Chase Beckham as well. We all signed confidentiality agreements, but Chase, as you saw in the hometown visit, if anybody watched American Idol, did visit Vanguard, the school where he did his first talent show. I have to do a shout out to Kylie Caudell, who is my executive assistant, because once Idol got in contact with me and we got permission to start doing this, I handed it off. And Mr. Bender said that board member Mr. Bender was there and said nobody should mess with her because she could point and direct everybody, including the staff from American Idol, and nobody messed with her. It was amazing. So I loved watching it go. We had a private concert by him with students in the classroom of the teacher who gave him his start. Kylie actually was able to find the video that went with the talent show when he was in 5th grade. So that's how that ended up all on Idol. So we loved that participation and getting kids out on the sidewalk to welcome him. Then on Monday night, I think June 24th, don't quote me on that date, was our class of 2020 graduation. We held a combined graduation for anybody from the class of 2020 that wanted to walk in the stadium and have a normal graduation. First combined graduation between Granite Hills High School and Apple Valley High School. And those kids were great, and we enjoyed the evening. Even when the power went out and one of our police cruisers had to come in and let us utilize their speaker system to announce probably the next 30 kids, and then the power came on. But it took a village, and it worked. The class of 2021 started graduations on Tuesday night, actually Tuesday morning, then Tuesday night, and then Wednesday night was the class of 2021. That included Apple Valley High School, Granite Hills High School, and High Desert Premier Academy, all in the stadium. And then this past Friday was our last, as a school district, our last graduation, which was the class of 2020 and 2021 Adult Ed Consortium. Apple Valley, Hesperia, Snowline, Lucerne, and Victor all are part of the consortium, and we graduated all of our students from the stadium or the field at Victor Valley College. If you haven't ever watched it, it's an amazing graduation, because these are all people that had challenges within their life that prevented them from finishing. And so watching people of all age brackets walk across the stage and get diplomas is just probably one of the highlights of what we do in the Valley. Including a couple of our employees that I didn't know did not have high school diplomas. And so as they crossed the stage, personal relationships with them and got hugs and things like that, even in a pandemic. So I think we have several consortiums up here in the high desert that people don't realize are very different than any place else in San Bernardino County and pretty much the state, and they should be highlighted. MDCP, the Mountain Desert Career Pathways that you've heard about before, and the Economic Partnership and the Adult Ed Consortium are all examples of that. As you mentioned, we also, I don't want to forget, tonight AAE does graduate, and they are doing something different than they have ever done, and they'll be using the stadium as well because it's a large venue. And so when Lisa Lamb was trying to figure out where they were going to pull this off outside and get as many people as possible for their class, she reached out, and we were thrilled to partner with them and get them a venue. So they'll be graduating tonight. And then, as you mentioned, Pat, we did do our summer learning launchpad that is much expanded from previous summer schools. In the past, we're limited based on funding and things like that, but because of some funding that came across called Extended Learning Opportunity, we were able to do not just the credit needed for high school students, but really more of a launch pad to get us back in person with kids in the fall. And so we've got some really fun stuff going on, but also educational and intended to catch kids up, but also work on social emotional and, you know, how to be back in a classroom with a bunch of other kids. So it really has impacted our system. People are thrilled to be there, and a lot of families are taking us up on the opportunity. We are ready for yesterday, we held our last board meeting of the official school year and put a lot of administrative staff in place because we offered a supplemental retirement program this year to teachers and managers and classified. And so about 100 across all three segments, we had 54 teachers take us up on the supplemental retirement program. And then we had the rest of them were made up of our classified staff and managers. And so there's always a domino effect this time of year, but greatly impacted. And so last night, I believe we named 6 assistant principals and deans within the system because other people moved up at the week prior board meeting. And so there's some new people in place, and we're excited about bringing them into the Apple Valley family. As far as next year goes, we're still waiting for the June 15th regulations. We know that it'll take a little bit of time before we know what schools are required to do. ESSER 3 funds are in place. We have assurances that we have to sign by June 25th if we want the first apportionment. If we don't do it by the 25th, no big deal. We still get the same amount of money. It's just when the cash flow comes. But ESSER 3 monies will help us to support whatever those regulations are that come out having to do with schools and reopening in the fall. There's a new plan that has to be developed. There's always a new plan that is associated with each of these sets of money, but we're ready to go. I think right now our enrollment center is just busting at the seams. There's people coming in to put their kids back in, anticipating that we'll be fully open in the fall. That's my anticipation. But we also have a lot of families that have not responded to our survey. We're sitting with about 4,000 responses to those that are in our, of 13,000 students, about 4,000 student responses by family. So we don't capture every, just a family unit. We capture every individual student in this particular survey, because what we're looking for is their intent to stay on an independent study program. There are still families that are unsure about returning their students to school. But in that, the numbers are so low of families that are staying, indicating they're going to stay independent study. I do believe that if they're going to indicate that schools must mask in the return, that there will be more families that opt for that because they won't return their children with masks.
I agree. And I agree.
Yeah, so, those are the things that are uncertain to us at this point, but we're staffing based on what we believe to be the data, and then we will adjust as we need to in the fall, like we always do. And then the last thing is we did have a trustee resign their position effective June 15th. I was noticed a week ago Wednesday, prior to the board meeting, via a letter that was a resignation. And so at the last board meeting, which was yesterday, the board, we had an discussion action item where the board could decide whether they were going to go special election or whether they were going to go with a provisional appointment. And so the board unanimously decided to go with a provisional appointment. And it's area 1, which is a very large area in our on a map, because there is not a lot of home density in portions of that. So just for kind of context, it down to Riverside Drive has a little bit of the area. It wraps up into the Knolls area and then all the way up by Sunset Hills. So right now, depending on how soon we can get something posted in the paper to start the timeline, we anticipate early next week that those positions will be, that position will be posted. People can get the application. And then we're looking at the application process potentially closing on July 19th, which is a Monday. And then doing some kind of a candidate workshop, which is the cabinet and myself, what we do if people are running for election. And then early the following week, and then towards the, we're looking at maybe the 29th of July as a board meeting, special board meeting posting where the board would then select the provisional appointment. This is an odd one because the position has only been in place. They were sworn in December. It was the November election. And so what we have is no election in November of 2021, but then 3 seats are up for election in areas, 3 seats for the November 2022 election. So this will add a 4th seat to that, and it'll only be an election for a 2-year seat to finish out the actual term. So provisional appointment will take them to the November 2022 election, and then they'll have, whoever it is will, I anticipate candidates running for election for area 1. So if you know people that are interested, have them watch our website and social media for the announcement of the timeline. That's all I got.
Trenae, what is the first day of school? That was always important in the pizza business. What's the first day of school this year? Gotcha.
August 4th, I think. Well, you guys know, I just, we just work. So let me look. I think it's August 4th.
August?
That would be correct. August 4th.
Okay. It's always a big week when kids go back to school for most businesses in retail. So,
Yeah.
or shopping or anything else, and you can't get a haircut or anything else. So
Yeah. So avoid that week.
that's right. Okay. And thank you very much for the work you do. I know Hogerman's on the call, and he left you with a full plate, and it just seems to get fuller with the retirements and everything else. It'll be interesting with all the newbies. So it's a big job. Thank you for what you do. Now on to real estate. Mr.
Hey, Pat?
Zimbro. Yes, sir. Speaking. Oh,
Pat, did Trenae mention who was resigning off the board?
If she did, I didn't hear it.
No.
I did not. I said area one. It was Adeline Blassingame that actually resigned. That was area one. She
Okay.
elected, Donna Davis had held that seat prior.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Zimbro, real estate's nuts.
That's right. It's probably an introduction and a great summary for what's going on in our market. Good morning, everybody. I'm Kyle Zimbro. I'm a managing broker for Coldwell Banker Home Source. I think you normally see the great Chris Lamoureux on giving these updates here, and she happens to be out only reachable by satellite phone. So I got a call yesterday afternoon and said, "Hey, can you step in?" So happy to be here. And what I'm going to try to do, if I may, is share my screen. And you would think after a year and a half of Zoom, we'd all be pros, but let's just give this a try here. Oh, so it's not going to let me share my desktop, or is it?
Should let you, Kyle. If it gives you a message to override my PowerPoint, just say yes. But since you're a co-host, you should be able to share.
Okay, great. And it's telling me to go to systems preferences in my, okay, so I'm going to click this box.
Good luck, Kyle.
Yeah, right. Oh boy, I knew it'd do this. I should have given it a test run in advance. Okay, so I will try this one more time. Share. Okay, so it says, do you want to continue? I do. I want to choose my desktop, open preferences, security and privacy to grant access. Okay.
Kyle's just building up the suspense on his
Yeah.
great presentation.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's not going to let me do it. It's just going to remain blacked out, I guess. Okay, so what I can do is I can give you a very good explanation with it. The graph. So I apologize for that, guys. I will, if I'm beckoned to be brought back and do this again, I will be sure to have the kinks out. But what I'm using this morning to give you a bit of an update is an area report. And us realtors, or at least me in particular, I really like numbers because it's a great way to tell a story. So just kind of some basics. We're going to compare May of this year to May of last year, which is, there's a lot of juxtaposition there, right? This time last year, everyone was still wondering if they could go outside. And this year, we're kind of responding to what has happened over the last 12 months. So May of this year, we have 107 sales in Apple Valley. Last year, it was 100, so pretty similar. We have an uptick in listings, new listings for the month, about 148 listed in the month of May compared to 128 last May. Now, what's really telling a story right now is our average days on market. So our average days on market is all the way down to 20 days. A healthy market would be 60 days. May of last year was 47. So we haven't had enough inventory for years now, but right now we are historically just off the charts. I've been in the business for 17 years, and this is for sure the strangest market I have seen. And what this is resulting in, these numbers kind of blow my mind because they are not artificial. Median sales price, average sales price, median list price, average list price, all those figures that people are listing homes for and selling them for, 32% increase year over year. And so what that's showing is our average sold price May of last year was $283, and our average sale price in May of this year is $375. Now that increase of 32%, so much of it has happened since the very beginning of 2021, which is very strange. So just month to month, if you go February, March, April, May, we're seeing such a drastic spike each month, and that's just driven by our shortage of inventory. And it's not necessarily that there's not enough people listing their homes. The town of Apple Valley, as well as most other markets, are listing the same amount of homes that they had been in years past. We just have so many people wanting to buy them, right? So we have a bit of a migration coming from urban areas. I think we definitely see that throughout the desert. But just, I guess, millennials, myself included, just finally decided to get off the fence and go buy a home, and it's causing prices to spike. So there's almost like physically not enough homes available for this group of people trying to buy, and they're taking advantage of these excellent interest rates as well. So the number of transactions has more or less stayed the same, right? We had a little bit of a dip April, May of last year, as several of our transactions fell out of escrow out of concerns of the start of the pandemic. But 107 in the month of May is pretty normal. Looking at my chart here, it appears that there's always between about 100 and 150 sales in Apple Valley each month. And again, what's really driving our price to climb as fast as it is our average days on market. So if you go back to 2018, 2019, we had upwards towards 70 to 80 days on the market for a home to go under contract. And again, it's currently at 20. So every time a home is listed nowadays, as long as someone's not being absurd about their list price, they do have multiple offers within a handful of days for a seller to choose from. So it's the agent's responsibility from there to try to navigate choosing the right buyer, because we see a lot of people throwing offers on properties and they don't really necessarily have the finances to support that offer, because 95% of the time it's subject to an appraisal. And what will happen in that appraisal when it comes down, it's a matter of, does that buyer have any additional funds to be able to support the offer that they wrote? So that's kind of the thing that we have to navigate nowadays mostly, is getting a listing on the market and knowing a buyer is going to come is more obvious than it's ever been. But there's a lot of trips and hazards that we have to help sellers with, because just because someone's throwing a large offer price at you doesn't necessarily mean that's a guarantee. So historically speaking, in the high desert and in Apple Valley, our homes sell for anywhere to 98 to 99% of what they were listed for. We're seeing that spike as well. So right now we're up at 103% of what a home is listed for, it sells for. And again, that's with multiple bids. More or less everybody's over list price, and it's choosing the buyer in the best financial position to help support that over list price sale. And properties for sale, we are seeing that decline, but that has a lot to do with absorption rate and days on market, right? So it's not that less people are listing their home. It's just that those same amount of people are continuing to list them. There's just more buyers absorbing that inventory really quickly. And this last chart here is giving me sold properties, more or less kind of saying Apple Valley has anywhere between 100 and 150 sales per month. So we're right in line with that. Our asking price and our sales price chart reflects that we're selling for more than our asking, and that is standard. So with months of inventory, a healthy market would have 6 months of inventory. For the last several years, we've had maybe 3 to 4 months of inventory, which has caused our market to have a healthy appreciation year over year, approximately about 10%. But that 20 days of inventory is giving us under a month, right, naturally. So with under a month of inventory, we're kind of at an unsustainable level of homes on the market for the amount of buyers that want to buy them. So long story short, we're all very busy in real estate. I do think we're hoping to see some sort of resolution to this, and whether that's new construction or sudden influx of people wanting to sell their home, or it might even just be an interest rate adjustment to kind of tamper down on the buyer's market. But it's an interesting world we're in right now. Again, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to screen share. Hopefully I was kind of informational enough to kind of paint the picture. I appreciate you guys having me today.
Thank you so much. It's an interesting world where real estate people want less buyers.
That's right. Asking for higher interest rates is a strange thing.
That's right. Donna Gilmore represents the village in Apple Valley, and there are some things going on finally at last. Donna?
Yes, right now we're working on the summer event scheduled for July 3rd, the Saturday before the fireworks. And it's going to be held at James Woody Park. And it's going to be holding vendors, food, music, car show, and hopefully a chili cook-off, which we added as a brand new item this year to try to get a little more interest in coming out to the street fair and displaying the cars and visiting all the different vendors. So there are prizes for people that do go in the car show and everything. So right now we still have openings for vendors and anyone that would like to sponsor the street fair in different categories. And if you're interested in that, you can go to the village website, which is avvillage.org, and get any more information on that upcoming car show and chili cook-off. Also, then after that's done, we're working on the parade, which we're hoping to hold in October. And that's it from the village.
Okay. If you have anybody you'd like to challenge and start a chili cook-off team, they really need cooks. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a good way to get your business name out there. Even if you're not a restaurant, giving away free chili for a half a day is always a good way to meet customers. Cindy, how's the banking industry? If you must be doing loans because he's selling houses.
Yes, our mortgage department is still continuing to be strong. And they are doing a lot of refis also because the rates are so low. Our fraud still continues to be a concern. People are still giving out information over the phone, and that's a problem. And we do also have a financial advisor here too, if anybody is in need of those type of services. She's available, and DCB is just looking forward to getting back out in the community when we can open up. As a member of Kiwanis, we gave out over $6,000 in scholarships this year to the schools. So we're excited to get back out and doing that. That's it.
Everybody wants to get back together.
Yeah.
In person.
Yes.
Yeah, it's happening, hopefully. If we can get OSHA to agree with the governor.
Yeah.
Carol, Liberty is doing a lot of work locally. Are you still on, Carol? From Liberty Utilities?
Yeah, she's still on. Just needs to unmute herself.
Oh, okay. Carol. I don't see her picture anymore. Is she still there, Mark?
Yeah, she's on.
Sorry about that. I had to step away for just a second. I thought I had a minute and you just crept up on me.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you. So good morning, everyone. I have a brief report, not too much different from last month. I think I told you last month about some main replacement projects we're going to have throughout the community that you'll be seeing over the next probably 3 to 4 months. You can expect to see some main replacements around the Riverside Drive area, Mingo, Shoshone, that area. Also probably about a 3/4 mile replacement around the area of Rincon and Yakaloma. That's a big main replacement, upgrading to a 20-inch. And we've got some other ones. We're replacing some old leaky steel pipe in the Rancherias, Carlisle, and Wyandotte areas. And all of those areas, we're going to be adding more fire hydrants to the area. So that's good for increased fire protection as well. And also on Kiowa on the east side easement from Del Oro to Sandia. So lots of construction going on throughout the summer. We've been hearing a little bit from the state about our drought conditions. Nothing mandatory coming this year. I think they feel that there are still sufficient supplies that are manageable through the summer. I think we might see things change, if we don't start seeing some rainfall and some snowfall this next winter. But for this summer, they're asking us to encourage our communities to do voluntary conservation. So you'll probably be seeing more information on reinstituting some of those voluntary reductions in outdoor water use, or we might see restaurants reverting to not serving water unless on request. But we'll see requests or urging customers to use a broom instead of a hose to wash down sidewalks and driveways. using potable water in your fountains, things like that. So we're just going to see voluntary, and I believe Liberty, as well as other water providers, are going to be putting out more information throughout the summer to remind folks and to help people conserve. I think that's all I've got for you.
Okay, thank you. Just to give your comments some context, I've lived around Rancho Rios Road since I've been in the valley, and the steel pipe that Carol mentioned was leftover from World War II. So it's
Yes.
over 75 years old. So the fact that it leaks is a real surprise.
Yeah, it's terrible and it's aging, and we try to get it replaced as best we can.
All right, Mark, you want to give us a wrap up on what's happening with the Greater High Desert Chamber of Commerce?
Absolutely. Thank you, Pat. Thanks everyone for being here this morning. Our next coffee break is a week from today on June 18th. We are hoping that we are going to be in person for this event. We're still working out some final details, but we're securing an outdoor location in the city of Hesperia, and we hope that we'll be in person next Friday. Our golf tournament, as we've mentioned many times at our regular coffee breaks and Valley Morning Insights, is coming up on June 25th. The golf spots have been sold out. We've actually been sold out of golf spots for about a month and a half now, to almost 2 months. Usually it's the opposite. Usually everything else comes into, all the logistics get planned early, and then you're fighting for golf spots up to the last week of the tournament. But we had the opposite effect where we've sold out all the golf spots. So we're just working on logistics now. It's almost a pinch me kind of a moment, because usually golf tournaments don't sell out so quickly, but it just goes to show you how badly people are looking forward to being back in person. But anyway, that's coming up on June 25th. But we are accepting raffle prizes. So if anybody would like to donate a raffle prize that represents your business, even if you just want to buy something and donate it, that'd be wonderful as well. We're also looking for goodie bag items. And that's 130 of a specific small item that we can put in the golfer goodie bags. Again, sometimes people ask me, well, if I don't have anything that represents my company, what can I donate? What a lot of people donate is sometimes they go out and they buy those miniature bags of chips or pretzels or granola bars, and then they just staple or they tape their business card to it. And the golfers love snacks while they're out golfing. So instead of looking around your office and trying to find 130 pins with your company name on them, instead, provide a snack for the golfers, and I know they would really appreciate it. If you're interested at all, you can put your information in the chat, and I will reach out to you personally, or you can email me, mark@ghdcc.com. And lastly, we're hoping our very first big in-person event will be our State of the Chamber, and that will be on Wednesday, July 7th. More information out on that sooner than later. Of course, we're all waiting for the big magical June 15th date where everything's back to normal miraculously. But, we've been waiting a long time for this, folks. And, the Greater High Desert Chamber, even before that, when we were still our individual chambers in the height of the pandemic, we made the decision to stay safe, not try to do anything, not try to push any envelopes. And unfortunately, that's why everything that we did was via Zoom. But we are waiting like everybody else. We cannot wait for the opportunity to see you all back in person, where we can shake hands, where we can give hugs, where we can just be in front of each other. But I want to thank everybody on this call that has been very supportive of the merger, the Greater High Desert Chamber, attending these Zoom meetings. I think it's very important that we've stayed connected as a chamber. We've done as best as we could to continually stay connected with all of our chamber members with our Zoom calls, our continuous emails offering valuable links for businesses to get in touch with different agencies as far as grants, things of that nature, how to battle this COVID-19. But again, my true thanks to everyone. And again, thanks for everyone for being on the call this morning. Back to you, Pat.
Mark, last question. Are there T signs available for anybody?
Yes, thank you for that reminder. Yes, we are still have a limited amount of T signs available at the cost of $150. So if you're interested in a T sign, thanks, Pat. I would have hated to miss the opportunity for some more revenue for the tournament. But yes, put that information in the chat, or again, you can just call me here at the chamber office, or you can send me an email and I will get you all set up. So again, thanks, Pat.
Well, I mentioned it because if you're a small business in Apple Valley, it's an inexpensive way to get a lot of eyeballs on your business. So
Absolutely.
a lot of movers and shakers in the golf tournament. And it's good to get recognition without having to buy big expensive advertising. I appreciate everybody's attendance today. I know you have other things to do at 9 o'clock in the morning. And our next meeting is scheduled for July 20th. If that changes, we will let you know, and have a wonderful day and a great week. Get ready for the heat. It'll coming.
Goodbye, everyone. If you want to unmute and say goodbye, go right ahead. And thank you all for being here.
Goodbye, everybody. Take care, Pat.
Goodbye. Have a nice
Bye.
weekend.
Bye, Trina.
Thanks, everyone, for your support. Really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
Hey, Pat and Mark, just one quick one. I heard the July 20th. We're in the middle of leadership training that week, so I will not be participating.
So send that assistant you said will tell us what
Yeah,
to do.
yeah, we want to hear from her.
She's part of the leadership team, folks. We call it our family reunion. So we keep them for 3 days. And so it's right in the middle
I'm
of it.
just kidding.
Okay, well, maybe you can send her at the next meeting then, so we can meet her.
I'll bring her in so you can meet her.
Perfect.
Bye, you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.